You've been involved in a number of companies that have pushed the boundaries of what is possible, from electric cars to space exploration. What motivates you to invest in these kind of moonshot ideas, and how do you balance the risks and potential rewards of such ventures?
Oh, that's a good question. There's definitely risk and reward, and those tend to come together. You rarely have great reward without taking risk. And the motivation is actually the easiest question for me to answer because I can't imagine doing anything else. So then the question would be, well, why is that? Well, I'm just a geek at heart. I'm a technologist. I love the way technology changes the fabric of society, how it is increasingly every year more obvious that it is defining the world we live in, the state of healthcare, the state of food production, the state of climate, you name it. Technology is the answer to any problem you can name in society, in culture, in humanity. And the reason I say something that crazy and bold is that, yes, we do learn as a culture, right? We learn how to be more wise. We learn how to treat each other more kindly, I believe, over the long arc of human history. But that cultural evolution is relatively glacial. You notice changes over 50 years, over 100 years, but you don't notice changes as quickly year to year. Whereas in technology, every year you have a doubling of Moore's law in terms of the compute you can buy for $1. You have massive breakthroughs that just take your breath away, whether it's AI, whether it's new breakthroughs in mental health treatments. It's the entire gamut of capabilities. And then when you take the intersection of technology change and entrepreneurship, those go very well together, because if you want to focus, as I do, on the kinds of advancements that history books would be written about, the electric car from Tesla, becoming a multi-planetary species with SpaceX, these are the kind of things that are amongst the greatest hits of humanity. And those always come from new entrants. So the most important message I can deliver to entrepreneurs out there is the future belongs to you. No government or large company is going to save the world. If you're worried about climate, don't look to the government to help you. If you're worried about cancer or some other health condition, don't assume some large company is ever going to make a meaningful change. If you want to get off gasoline in the petrochemical economy, it's going to be new entrants. It's always been new entrants. There is no exception in the history of the world, which is kind of astounding. So in a long-winded way, technology drives the future. Startups drive all meaningful change. The combination of those two is just fascinating to me, to be an investor in that. They have a front row seat into the next Jobs and Wozniak that are going to change the world for the better.
How do you approach evaluating potential investments at future ventures, and what are some of the key factors you look for in a company or founder?
So if we chain back from that assumption that these companies have to be able to change the world for the better, that's a big, audacious, crazy goal. But we hold every company to that goal. In other words, if you succeed, what do you look like 50 years from now? Which is a question most entrepreneurs don't get from investors. Like, what do you look like 50 years from now? Because presumably everyone's cashed out, they've made their money, they're on to the next one. But no, we're actually only interested in companies that have that kind of longevity or longer. And we simultaneously look for a near-term opportunity to learn and iterate with customers. So those are like almost opposites. Change the world in the long run, have pragmatic near-term revenue and customer engagement in the near term. So that combination usually requires a founder who is somewhat agile in their thinking and both a business expert and a technology expert. And usually, when I said founder, it's usually founders plural. So the thing I should mention is almost never is there a single founder of a startup that we invest in. There is almost always, like in 90-something% of the cases, at least two, a dynamic duo. Think Jobs and Wozniak, often very opposite from each other. Extrovert, introvert, a marketer, an engineer, who have mutual respect for each other and form the dyad of a founding team. So the reason I belabor that is just there's something special about the insight that it can occur when you cross-pollinate the engineering and marketing sense, or the introvert, extrovert, personality types of cognitive diversity. So we look for that. It's not a singular person, I guess is what I'm saying. It could literally be opposites. So the attribute I give you is, well, there's that and its opposite in a founding team. But almost always there's enough self-confidence to be humble, to recognize they don't know everything. And so they want to have someone at their side who is a complement to their skill set. People who come from an unusual background, like there's some reason why they uniquely can pursue this idea. When we ask them that question, like, why you? Why are you in particular pursuing this instead of 100 other people? And they have an answer to that. It's like they're just driven to do this based on their walk through life. So that passion, the dedication, agility of mind, the humbleness, yet self-confidence to be humble. And frankly, they just get us hopping in our seat with excitement. I can't explain how, but you know it when you see it, when someone persuades you that this is the inevitable future, that they're going to make it happen, and you want to join them for this ride and help them achieve their dreams.
What role do you see venture capital play in shaping the future of society and also the economy?
First, a statement of humility. It is indirect at best. So the most humble thing I could say is we're just lucky participants and free riders on this economy. That would be totally humble. The most positive thing I could say is on occasion, we help others achieve their dreams. Fair enough. But it is 100% the entrepreneurs that change the world for the better. And we are facilitators in some cases with capital, with recruiting, with all the help and advice that we might be able to provide. But let's not lose sight of the fact that the world is changed by small teams of new entrants. It always has been, always will be. And it is the greatest joy of my life, again, to be able to help in some small way them achieve their dreams. So in another way of saying this is any success I feel in my life, in my career, is vicarious, meaning it is because of the accomplishment of others. It's like being proud of your children. I'm a parent, so I know what that feels like. It's like, obviously if they do something great, you don't take any credit, but you feel so proud of what they've done, right? That pride is transitive. And I feel that. I don't think there's anything more incredible that I can point to in my professional life than having a small role to play in the early founding days of Tesla and SpaceX, for example, and many other companies that are less well known. I just name those because pretty much everyone's heard of those. But you can imagine what that must have felt like to believed in the dream before, in fact, the vast majority of people thought it was impossible, right? Most people thought what SpaceX was endeavoring to do would just never work with the reusable rockets. And same with Tesla. They were like, good luck. Every electric car company for almost 100 years has gone bankrupt. So, why now? I mean, literally 100 years of startups in that area. So it is a source of great joy when they succeed dramatically. And of course, there's many times when they fail. So, we shouldn't focus 100% on success. The majority of times startups fail. But that's okay. Back to your original question of risk and reward. When they succeed, it vastly outweighs the failures, right? Because the most you can lose is 100% of your money, and the most you can make is many multiples. And that's what makes our business work.